Hey, peace, world. This is Wood. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment live stream or video, however this makes it to you. I'm just going to jump on here real quick. Try to keep this tight. Talking about a little bit of BOSCH from Amazon. Again, I'm going to just make sure a couple things are rocking real quick before I get going in it or going on it. The show's been out maybe 3 weeks now. I think 3 weeks is about right. The other thing that I would suggest for any fans of BOSCH is looks like my chat didn't make it through this week. Okay. Well, and that's a little downer. But anyway, what I was gonna say was, dang, that's messed up too. See, I'm trying to rush. Wifey got me all messed up. Getting ready to go to dinner in about 15 minutes, so I apologize for all of that. That kind of threw me for a loop, but I'm gonna get into it anyway. The other thing I was gonna say really quickly was go out there and check out, if you like what's going on over at Amazon, check out they got the other show that just came back. Damn, I cannot even think of it. I'll come back to that one in a minute, but let's jump into some early things on BOSCH. Moving around something here real quick. Did really well so far. As you can see on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is very high. The audience score with 51 user ratings is at 95%. So it's been well received, and kind of reinforces the fact why this is one of my favorite shows out there. Maybe I know I said top 3 for something else recently, but this might be top 2 right here. I really enjoy it. It's a good watch. If you have a spouse or something, it's I don't want to say it's slow, but maybe it's TV slow or something. But I really enjoy it, and I would just recommend it. I'll get into some other details here in just a second. What did I want to go to? So let's jump into some of the characters. Let me get on here real quick. I got about 5, 6, or 7 points I'm gonna get into, but taking a look at the plot for this year, and I'll keep saying this when I talk about it. Please go back to season 1 and watch it from the beginning. Because if you dive in, you kind of won't understand a lot of stuff that's going on. A lot of great storylines and relationships that have been built up over the 5 seasons. You probably would think the show is a little bit slow, or maybe not even interesting if you didn't understand how we got here. So I would recommend going back. And actually, season 1 or 2 are just super dope. I mean, really, really great television. And if you like detective stories and thriller or, criminal investigations, if you're a big First 48 person, you would love to come on over here and check all of this stuff out that they've been putting together. So let me get this synopsis out of the way real quick. Season 5 picks up 15 months after BOSCH has finally brought his mother's killer to justice. His mother being killed was an arc that crossed or spanned maybe the first 4 seasons, I believe. So killer to justice, and he now finds himself seeking the truth on 2 fronts. New evidence in an old case leaves everyone wondering whether BOSCH crossed the line by planting evidence. Simultaneously, a murder at a Hollywood pharmacy exposes a sophisticated opioid pill mill, and BOSCH's search for the killers takes him down a dark and perilous path. So it premiered on April 19th. It's based off of a series of books by Michael Connelly, and it's just a really dope show. Let me see what I got going on here real quick. that's just the slideshow is just in some images of the characters from this particular season. It's 10 episodes. Just a couple quick critics comments right here. BOSCH has a lot to say about justice in America and continues to do so with excellent precision. That's by Telltale TV, Kevin Lever. One of TV's most irresistible binges remains irresistible binge-worthy. That's Verna Gay at Newsday. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. BOSCH is back and as addictive as ever, showing why it's Amazon's oldest continuing original drama despite a call for new blood by Han Nguyen from IndieWire. I think I saw an article out there that I had pulled to the side that person might have written. And then Connolly's BOSCH novels are great, but BOSCH the series enhances them. Whole cast is good, but Titus Welliver is a notch above. That's Jackie K. Cooper at the Huffington Post. And then why not Screen Rant's Kevin Yeoman. The exploration of such moral gray areas makes BOSCH more captivating than the average police procedural. And Amazon's long-running cop show has once again proven itself to be the most reliably entertaining series of its kind on TV. I would wholeheartedly agree with that as well. Like I said, BOSCH is not going to be as a black man, and and most of the fellas that I would know would give it zero time. I'll admit that, but it's good enough. I mean, it's well written, it's well executed. Nothing is over the top. Or very little is over the top, and it's a slick show. I would definitely recommend it. Get into some of my thoughts on this season. Love BOSCH, great action. What's up, Corey Evans? Yeah, I agree. My favorite thing out there. I'm getting ready to get into these talking points real quick, and I'm gonna run up here because I gotta go to dinner with my wife. But my own thoughts on the plot for season 5. One of the masterful things about BOSCH is that it has so much going on that and it blends the cases together. It blends the office politics together. It blends what's going on at City Hall in Los Angeles. It's based in Los Angeles. Deals with the home lives of some of the characters. It's interaction between other departments and other. They're in Hollywood, I believe. BOSCH's office or department is based in Hollywood, and they interact with other groups throughout the show, for different cases and whatnot. So it's just a lot going on, but it's all really well organized and it's seamless is what I was looking for. Remind me of an old school crime show. I would agree. I would definitely agree. So this opioids case, obviously, that's another thing. It's always everything that's going on the show is really apropos in terms of what's going on in society. They do an excellent job of, everything is very organic. Corey, this opioid thing, I kind of didn't understand. It gets started very quickly with the opioid and the action. And it's not a whole lot of action always in BOSCH, but it comes in bursts. And in this one, it starts early with a killing that happens at a pharmacy, and this pharmacist is pretty much executed, which brings BOSCH and his partner into the that's how we land into this season. And without getting too detailed in that, the only thing that I really didn't understand with this is for him to crack this case, BOSCH goes undercover as a user. We also see C. Thomas Howell in this season. If you remember, if you were an 80s kid, I guess you would know who C. Thomas Howell is, but we see him this year. But getting into this case, he goes undercover acting like he's an addict and has to infiltrate kind of this pill mill operation that's going on. And he spends some time figuring out how you get introduced to it, you know, how you get in the mix to receive the drugs and whatnot. And then as he gets into that, he figures out, he gets selected to go out to this area, this compound that's like out in the desert. And that was the one part of the season that I didn't kind of really understand what was going on there. And Corey, if you want to type, let me know what, if you understood that part. But they weren't doing anything. So they took a van full of users, put them on this airplane, and then flew them out to this desert type area. And they just stayed there for a couple of days. And the guys who were running the pill mill, that's where you are introduced to all of these guys. But I really don't understand kind of what the people were doing. It wasn't like they were making the pills or sorting the pills or bagging up the stuff. Pretty much, I kind of didn't understand that part of it. But things unfold, and he learns. He actually goes off the grid for a minute because he made a knee-jerk decision to go on that plane, to go out to this area. And J. Edgar and the rest of the police force and the department really have no way of getting to him. So that's kind of going on. While he's figuring out that case, this murder case that kind of got his career going. Yeah, I understood that part about going around with the fake scripts from all the different pharmacies. I guess they had to fly him out there to bring them together to get the pills from everybody. And consolidate everything. I guess maybe that's what was going on out there. But this murder case is unfolding, and actually a character from a previous season is reintroduced, an attorney named Honey Chandler. Why the sleepover? Exactly. This defense attorney, Honey Chandler, comes back this year. They had a run-in in previous seasons, I believe, and BOSCH gets her on retainer to help him out to clear his name as this case that he solved comes into question, is being scrutinized by another LAPD office. And the detective behind that's driving this is actually a previous love interest of BOSCH, and she has an axe to grind because he didn't bring her over to his department. So that's going on. They have you. I don't want to give too much away, but BOSCH has crossed he's crossed the line on a couple of things here and there, but he's really a stickler about law and order and procedure. So you kind of don't know whether BOSCH ran afoul back in the day, or Chief, the acting deputy chief, gets involved in it, who's played by Lance Reddick. His name is Irving on the show. It's both of these guys like 20 years earlier. And so you kind of don't understand what's going on. But if this case is taken down or reversed, it could free a killer that, the course, the course scene was hilarious. That was well done. But if this case is reversed, it could release this killer out to the streets who Irving and BOSCH are certain that the guy was guilty and that he needs to stay behind bars. But through all of this legal wrangling and some looking for a lawsuit if this guy is released, there's another defense attorney who comes into the picture who's working with that guy, and they've set up a pretty extravagant plan that's all centered around some evidence that seems like it was planted at the scene. And you're led to believe that BOSCH did it, but you can tell that based on BOSCH's his confidence that his case was airtight, you can tell that he didn't. You get the feeling that he didn't plant it there. He just doesn't know how this piece of evidence popped up the way that it did, and it was the way it allowed him to close the case, basically. Also, what's going on is a cop involved shooting that's kind of being looked at by Deputy Chief Irving, and it's kind of something that showing his leadership. It's kind of something that could propel him into the mayoral race in the city of Los Angeles. So we kind of got some stuff going on with him, but I won't say that. But and then there's also a situation going on as everybody was descending on the scene at the pharmacy after the shooting had occurred. On the way to that, two cast members who've been involved with the show the past 5 seasons are some older gentlemen, some older detectives, and they have a car crash with another squad car as they arrive at the pharmacy, and it sends them down the path to, because of their age, they could be put out onto the street and forced into retirement. So that's kind of the office politics side of things that the show takes the time to delve into, and it actually made for, a lot of us are facing different realities wherever we are in our respective careers and whatnot. And so it was pretty interesting to see how the writers of the show handled this situation with these two guys that they nicknamed Crate and Barrel. So that's kind of everything that's going on in this season. Oh, and then J. Edgar has a situation that develops as he tried to convince a former buddy of his from the neighborhood to cooperate with some police officers on something an investigation that they had going on, and his friend turns up dead. And so he starts looking into that, and that actually is part of the genius of the show, is that this case ends up being something that's probably going to transition into a major storyline next year. So that's one thing that they've done very well, is every season they've introduced a new case or 2 new cases. Bosch's mother's investigation has been lingering out there. And then also at the end of this season, Bosch takes on another cold case, which is related to one of the addicts that he met when he was undercover. And so to close out the action for the season, well, I won't even go into that. Like I said, I really didn't want to get into any spoilers. But that's kind of all of the Corey. Oh, yeah. yeah, you're right. I can't remember if that was Crate. I think that's Barrel who wouldn't give the watch up. Yeah, the Apple Watch. So yeah, that was a pretty funny scene. Getting to it, so some strengths of the show, if you want to check the show out, I would say one is the office culture, or the various relationships inside the office. They get into talking about, you see the hierarchy of the police force, with their lieutenant, who's played by Amy Aquino, Lieutenant Grace Billets. She's juggling all of these guys, making different decisions, and everything kind of flows from her. But then Bosch is one of the lead detectives in the office, so he has a lot to say. Plus, he's obviously the star detective in terms of the different types of cases that he's cracked, especially over the first 4 seasons. Like I already mentioned, Crate and Barrel have certain things going on. They're working their own cases, and they kind of provide some of the comedy or the comic relief to the show, which is pretty much quite serious outside of those guys. So that's what they kind of do. Lieutenant Grace she's constantly covering for Bosch often, as being an intermediary between Bosch and Deputy Chief Irvin. It's a very contentious relationship between Irving and Bosch, as Bosch usually follows the evidence wherever he needs to follow it to crack a case, and sometimes it's led him to the doorstep or the office of Irving. So that's an interesting relationship to watch. What else? There was another detective that was in the office who took a spot. He wanted to be a superstar himself. So he left going into this season. BOSCH House is dope. Love your channel, bro. Thanks, Corey Evans. If you getting out of here, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, BOSCH's house. I wish they would show the other side of it, though. We saw a little bit more of it at the end of it when the climax, the major climax for this season happened. We saw the basement and everything, but we always just see that one view. But yeah, you're right. His house is very dope. So getting to this office culture, yeah, that's just an enjoyable part of the show, and it's very it may be a little dull and it may be a little boring, because they don't have the fancy labs on CSI, and it's not a whole bunch of science and all of that stuff. It's digging through pictures, it's digging through case files, it's digging through reports, looking for lapses and small details. Is going out, interviewing people, building the crime board and tying everything together. It's like real detective work. Very much like I mentioned earlier, like some of the stuff that you'll see on First 48. It's that realistic, in my opinion. So I think the attention to detail in the office in general is just phenomenal. If you appreciate that type of stuff. Another strength is the representation, inclusion, and diversity. Again, I don't watch shows if I don't see people that look like me not featured in it in some way. I mean, something like Game of Thrones would be the only suggestion, and that's because it's fantasy, and I can kind of put two and two together in terms of the time period and so on and so forth. But they do a great job here with, like I said, it's a lot of women at my job who have higher positions. So with Lieutenant, Grace Billets being atop of the department, that's pretty dope. She is a lesbian. Is known. That's pretty common in an area like Los Angeles. They don't go overboard with it, but it's it's handled very well, and very realistically, very organically. So. The diversity, like I said, Lance Reddick is the deputy chief. J. Edgar, played by Jamie Hector from The Wire, Marlowe of The Wire. He's been fantastic the last couple of years. We get some storylines for younger people with BOSCH's daughter, Maddie, played by Madison Lentz. Like I said, I think that's a very dope aspect of it too. It's just the diversity in the cast, and again, none of it is forced. It's all very it's all well thought out and organically. It's all organic. It's phenomenal how they manage that. Another strength is cases seem to happen organically, and like I said, one case leads to another case. And they break it off. It's other departments in the building. I mean, it's other detectives that sit alongside J. Edgar and BOSCH. They work together to, to help, solve these cases and whatnot. It's almost like you're a part of the office. I mean, if a lot of the scenes at the desks and whatnot, it's almost like you're like embedded in this thing. Watching a real office work. Another thing that's very dope about it is LA politics. You get to see a lot of stuff going on above BOSCH's level and above the LT's level with Irving. Like I said, with him making decisions, executive decisions, he does some stuff that crosses the line, frankly. But he's been firm when he had to, when he was being leaned on by the mayor or the mayor's office. It's everything. I mean, it's some of the same stuff that you used to see in The Wire, actually, with the Baltimore, the brass and the mayor's office in Baltimore. It's a lot of those same things. But again, it's a little more sexier, I guess, because it's out in Los Angeles. But they handle all of that stuff very well. You can see where what's been building for Deputy Chief Irving and how he's kind of positioning himself to transition into something new. And also, he has a lot of responsibility going on with maintaining, law and order in the city and dealing with this police involved shooting. And so you get to look at how decisions like this are made. I mean, of course, it's just a television show, but they do try to show, just like this week we had this black woman who was supposedly pregnant, who was shot and killed by this police officer in Texas. And, some of the different officer involved shootings over the last couple years, we get to see how those decisions are made to whether or not to prosecute this stuff. What gets the situation with Laquan McDonald in Chicago and Rahm Emanuel, and what gets released to the public, and in what time frame, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they delve into some of that this year. I thought that was very slick. It's also always dealing with a lot of current issues. Like I said, the LGBTQ stuff with the lieutenant. They do a little bit with Jay Edgar's character. Him and his wife are divorced. They have 2 boys together. That's another phenomenal thing. I like that they show the way that they portray this black man as a father and as a man who appreciated his family and loved his wife and wanted it all to work. Some of the different interaction that goes on with those two as they try to make it work and as they realize that they can't make it work, and what they do in the aftermath of that. So again, the crate and barrel situation with reaching the end of the line in terms of your employment, and how to deal with that. You work a job like a detective, and you have all the camaraderie going on in the office, for all of those years, and you have this power that you have as a detective, and the skills that you obtain and apply. And if you're being forced out of the door, what do? And they take the time to talk about retirement, and lieutenant is trying to save their job, but at the same time, she gets leaned on by people above her that want these positions to be turned over. And she has to be up front and make tough decisions and be honest to guys who who ran through walls for her for years. So that was very slick how they handled the situation with Crate and Barrel. It's also Blue Lives Matter is in the blue line, the whole concept behind that, the police force sticking together with this police involved shooting. There's a decision that's reached on that. As far as I think the DA, district attorney or whatever, meets with Irving a few times, and they hash out how they're gonna approach that. There's also another storyline out there where they deal with the local a local newspaper, same as The Wire. It's a hothead writer or journalist over there at the LA Times who creates problems. And then, like Corey Evans just mentioned, there was once the whole plan to free this this prisoner, and the detective or the investigator that Honey Chandler, Bosch's lawyer, uses. It's a lot of stuff going on that's just very interesting. So that was kind of all of my strengths. I got to get out of here to go to dinner. The future, though, from what I understood, I could not find an article before I went on with the live stream. I couldn't find an article that confirmed that season 6 is underway, but I did see I know I saw a social media post from Titus Welliver himself, who plays Harry Bosch, and he's an executive producer of the show, I believe, at this point. He did mention he posted something on social media that season 6 is on the way. I believe they're filming some of it right now, or they've started filming, or it's some activity going on. I think maybe Jamie Hector was in the shot that I saw, but he did go out on his own and confirm that the show is in fact, or will in fact, have a season 6. And like I said, Hector, he played his character. J. Edgar is of Haitian descent, and something happened in Haiti as he was leaving or something, and it looks like some guy that had a lot of political influence in Haiti, who's now in Los Angeles, will be the target of this is where the investigation into his friend's death has kind of left him. And then also, lastly, he kind of has uncovered the fact that there could be some dirty police involved in what happened to his friend. So it's a lot of stuff set up already for season 6. If that's one of the major arcs. And then, like I said, Harry himself is digging into BOSCH a cold case of this woman that helped him out when he was undercover, that he tried to help, but she left the rehab center that he took her to, and she's strung out on pills and stuff because she's depressed from her daughter being killed, I believe is what happened, or she's missing. She's either missing or was killed, and she just can't deal with the situation, and she's been on dope for years and selling her body, to buy drugs and whatnot. So those are two definite things that will pop up in season 6. And then we'll also see what happens with Creighton Barrow, and Irving makes he made his announcement to run for the mayoral, or run for mayor. And like I said, it's a lot of stuff out there. I love the show. I'm a huge fan of it. I wish I would have taken some more notes. Again, I didn't want to spoil anything. I just love the show, and feel free to leave some comments. If you go and check out the show, and or anybody that's looked at season 5 already, you want to talk about any details, we can do that down below in the chat section, rather me doing spoilers up here in the video. So look, man, let me get on off of here. Appreciate Corey Evans for checking in with me and showing some love on the channel. I appreciate that. Let me get ready to get on out of here. I need some outro music. But yeah. Why didn't? Oh, because it didn't. So anyway, let me get on here like I end every show. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Appreciate everything. Consider checking in with me or checking out the other series recaps that I do, or episode recaps that I do, or the other shows that I'm discussing. Feel free to leave any comments, and let's talk about some of it. You might be like me. I don't have any friends that I could even convince to even watch most of these shows. So if you are a TV head and binge TV, peak TVs, etc., holla at me, and I can be that person that that we chop up TV about. So let me get on off here. Have a great evening, and damn, I still didn't think of the name of that cousin. It's got Giovanni Ribisi stars in it. Damn, cousin something. He's a con man, basically. But let me get on out of here if I don't have anywhere to sleep tonight. Take care. Thank you.